Good evening, and thank you for joining in on Channel Scenic Downtown 23 Educational Television. It's Let's Live with Thurman Greco, and we have a VIP guest. She's been here several times, and she has returned because I really wanted to know more about the essential oils. I wanted to know more about the things that are so popular at her booth. And so, would you introduce yourself and tell what we've got here?
Okay, I am Suzanne Nelson. I am co-owner and founder of Tonshi Mountain Studios. We do have a regular booth at the Woodstock Flea Market, the Mowers Market on Maple Lane. And we also have an online store as well. And today we're going to be talking about aromatherapy.
Now, I said the word essential oils, and you
Yes.
said, what is the difference?
There's a huge difference. Well, essential oils are pressed specifically for homeopathic reactive essences. That's why they're essential oils essences. And they're basically unregulated drugs that grow in our front yard. They can be very beneficial. But they can also be harmful. So it's always best to buy from someone who knows what they're talking about in regards to the benefits, as well as drug interactions, as well as how to use them. Because believe it or not, the ever popular tea tree and lavender are dangerous.
That's very, very true. When I first studied reflexology, I was in the DC metro area, and there was a woman who was a very successful reflexologist, and she was taking her family back to Ireland. And in order to return to Ireland the way she wanted to, she went down to New York City and got herself a certification as a homeopath. So that now she is in Ireland as a reflexologist, homeopathy person.
Nice.
And that's because she feels that this is it,
Yeah.
And so you do have to be very careful. You can have reactions.
Yes.
You can overdose yourself.
And they can
They have interact. Yes.
They interact with prescription drugs, and most prescription drugs are synthetic versions of essences that have been found in the rainforest. So basically, they find a new plant, they'll test it to see if it has any reactive qualities, and then that's how we get a lot of our medications. Mother Nature provides them.
So these are the essential oils that you sell.
They are not essential
Oh, they are
oils.
not.
Yes. So the definition of an essential oil is that it is pressed from the reactive portion of the plant. That can also be the portion of the plant that has the smell, but sometimes it isn't. So these are aromatherapy oils. They are non-reactive, especially since we use these oils in the incense, which is a more concentrated version of an aromatherapy. Essential oils can be wonderful in like soaps, lotions, in which case the soap or the lotion dilutes it. It's the carrier. Most lavender essential oils that you buy in the store that would be applied to the skin are diluted up to 60%. Because they are a hormone disruptor. So is tea tree oil. They say not to apply straight lavender to, for example, a boy who is going through puberty, because it will disrupt his natural hormones. Pregnant women also should avoid it if it's not diluted or properly applied, in which case I'm about the smell. And essential oils, I don't know enough about them to go down that path. And they may not be appropriate for aromatherapy. For example, cinnamon. we have two versions of cinnamon. There's the fireball cinnamon, and then there's the cinnamon bun cinnamon. The fireball cinnamon is an essential oil. It is the FDA has rated it a hazardous substance because it will burn the skin and possibly cause breakouts. An example of this is a friend of my daughter. She decided she wanted to go into the soap business, and she bought all kinds of exquisite ingredients, shea butter, just pure, wonderful ingredients. And she didn't check to see the cautions on the oils, and she used cinnamon in a lot of it, and it was the wrong cinnamon. And the result was some of her customers broke out, and she had to throw out everything. So sometimes
it's a
doesn't
learning
work.
process.
Yeah, and their education is already there. You just have to learn about it. Our business is about aromatherapy, which is very different from basically using oils as a medication. So when you smell something, it causes an emotional reaction. So aromatherapy is more about the emotion than the physical. So we use oils that are completely non-reactive. And that's basically why we don't use essentials.
Yeah, well, that's very true because they're real. I mean,
Yes.
anything that can do something for you
Yeah.
can also work against you
Yes.
if it's not appropriate. And I tell my clients that often. I've been saying that for years. Somebody says, "Oh, I can use all this I want. It's totally well,
No.
that's not
There's
not the way
a lot
it
of
is."
things in nature that
Yeah.
poison ivy you don't want to turn into an essential oil.
Right.
The thing is, with essentials is that they are pretty much the first or second pressing of the plant, which is why they have those strong essences that are reactive. Aromatherapy oils typically are pressed from the part of the plant that has the smell, or it is a later pressing where those essences have been basically pulled out. So an essential oil is always a natural oil, whereas aromatherapy oils can be natural, but they can also be synthetic.
Yes.
And sometimes, especially with fireball cinnamon, we can only use a synthetic version. And then it comes down to who is making the oil, and are they good at it, and is it a good quality, non-natural thing to use.
Safety is where it's all
Yes.
comes down to.
I can dip, there's some of our oils that have elements of synthetic ingredients as well as natural. It's about not having a reaction. And we have a wonderful distiller that's American based. They're right here in the United States. When I started this business, I think I went through about 20 different companies that I had bought samples from. And I ended up with a shelf full of garbage. And I stumbled upon this one company that I cannot name because I have competitors, but they just have such good quality oils. I myself have allergies, and I have dipped up to 10,000 sticks in a day. Actually, probably, I think the most I did was maybe 25,000. That was a huge order. And never had a runny nose, never broke out, never had any reaction at all. And that's what's important, is that in this, it's about creating the emotional response, not a physical response.
So, do you always have this particular grouping available, or is it?
This is a sample of what we have. I forgot, I think it's over 35 varieties of oil. We have, I think, close to 80 varieties of incense, and then we have an endless variety of candles. I don't have any of the candles here. My daughter, who's my business partner, handles the wax products, and she can blend anything.
Well, now, these products, these are blends themselves.
Yes,
So
yes.
how does that happen?
Well, our oil company, they blend some. They have some very amazing knockoffs of designer scents, and some of them we've mixed up ourselves. There is one here. I would have to find it now. Oh, of course, second one. Perfect. So this is Spa Fresh, and this was one that I blended myself. And it is actually based on a discontinued Yankee Candle.
Wow.
And I love the smell of it. And it took me a while because the larger companies are very secretive about their blends, as am I. And I found what the ingredients were, and I just played around with the proportions until I got to what I liked. And take a smell.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yes, it smells like a spa.
Yes, it's lovely.
And so the easiest way to explain aromatherapy, because it's different for everyone, the primary go-to for relaxation, everyone says lavender, lavender, lavender. I'm not a big fan of lavender. I like lavender as a blend with other scents, but I'm not crazy about straight lavender. It just doesn't do it for me. So everyone has their own individual experiences in their life that kind of leans them towards some sense and away from others. So I always tell someone when they come to my booth, just smell and see what you like. From a psychological standpoint, there's some very good reasons why we're drawn to some scents and not others. I always use what I call the grandma analogy. So with rose, and I think I have rose over there in the incense. Let's just say your grandma wore rose perfume, and she was the stereotypical, wonderful, warm, loving grandma. You just felt safe and loved in her arms, and she wore that rose perfume. So later in life, if you smelled rose, maybe sometimes you would think about grandma, but even if you didn't, on a subconscious level, that warm and fuzzy feeling would come over you. But if grandma was the exact opposite, if she was a grandma that hated kids, didn't like you around, was always mean, rose would have a different reaction. It would create a negativity in you. You would feel irritable. So that's why aromatherapy is very individual for every person. Sometimes it's that wonderful feeling of deja vu, and sometimes it's just you smell something that just does it for you, and you don't know why. And it could be something that happened in your past that you don't remember, and it could be a negative or a positive thing.
So, what are your two most popular scents?
Well, the number one, let me see if I can find it, is Egyptian musk.
Oh, really?
Yes, it is a classic.
It has a very, very romantic name.
It's been around for a long time. Let's see, where's my, here it is. It's not a very powerful oil the way patchouli can be.
It's more delicate.
It's delicate. It's musk, but the Egyptian aspect of it is this, I believe it's a floral undernote that mellows the pungency of musk while not taking away from the musk. The musk is definitely the, what they call the top note of the
Yes.
scent, whereas the florals would be a bottom note that just mellow it. So you don't necessarily smell what's the undernote, but it just complements those top notes.
So this is a very popular one.
It is the most popular one.
Oh, that is the most.
I bottle more Egyptian musk than I do even patchouli. And there is patchouli somewhere here.
Yes, I saw it.
Was it?
Right here.
Ah, yes. And we do a more subtle patchouli because patchouli can be very, very potent. Some people tend to take baths in it, or the patchouli is just so strong that you smell the person before you see the person.
Yes.
So our patchouli is a little bit more subtle. It's intentionally pressed that way because we didn't want to do that overpowering patchouli, because patchouli is either a love or hate relationship. You either hate patchouli or you love patchouli. There is no in between.
So these are your two favorites.
Those are my two of the Egyptian musk is my absolute bestseller. The patchouli is one of the bestsellers. It's probably almost equal with Woodstock.
Oh, really?
So Woodstock is a blend of the three biggest selling incense of the 60s.
Oh, really?
Which was patchouli, musk, and sandalwood.
Oh.
So back in the 60s.
That's a really heavy one then.
Yeah, it is very potent. It is a stronger one.
Wow.
And it doesn't smell like patchouli, it doesn't smell like musk, and it doesn't smell like sandalwood.
But it's
when
there.
those three are blended together, it creates its own scent. And yeah, so we always joke that this is what Woodstock smelled like in the 60s. Sometimes still does, but we're not including that undernote of what everyone used to be covering up.
You know, I know that I was taught that you didn't have to have a lot of different oils.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in any kind of a healing profession, you really don't need to have, 50 or 60.
Yeah.
A couple of 3 will do it.
Yeah.
So if somebody were to come to you and say, I want to get interested in this and I'd like to pick out a couple of 3, what would you offer?
Well, I would always tell them to try the Egyptian musk because it's just, for some reason, so many people are drawn to it. But other than that, I would just question, what kind of aromas do you lean towards? Fruity, florals, earthies, what do you tend to lean towards? And then I would just tell them, start sniffing.
Because if you're going to do any kind of a massage,
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to be massaging even hands or feet or whatever, you need an essential, you need an oil, but you also need an unflavored oil to dilute it so that it isn't overpowering.
Yeah.
So you would pick one of these, and then do you sell the carrier?
No, I don't sell the carrier oils because, if someone's doing massage therapy, they're going to lean towards a particular type of carrier. And there's a wide variety of different oils that massage therapists use. So it's just a matter of what they're going to scent it with.
And does that happen? I mean, do you have people who come in and
I do have people of different backgrounds, massage therapists, candle makers, who buy more in bulk. And they do have just a couple of go-tos that they buy from me. The massage therapists tend to stick to either one or, as you said, no more than 3 that they use when they're practicing.
Yeah, interchangeably.
Yeah.
And so that's what your market is here.
Well, the people that buy the oils, they use them for many different things, either massaging themselves, or they make their own lotions. They scent their own lotions. These are amazing in mist diffusers. In fact, I think the mist diffuser is probably the best way of scenting a room without using a lot of oil. You just use a couple of drops, and these little bottles last forever. And just the way the mist just diffuses into the air is just wonderful.
Do you have a clientele that makes lotions and creams and things?
Yes, I do have.
Do you sell the base lotion?
No.
They do themselves.
That they do themselves, yes.
And they come to you and they select.
Yeah, they'll buy the oils because they want good ingredients, and that's one thing we pride ourselves on, is that these are really good oils. And I have to give all the credit to our distiller, because pressing oil is very time consuming, and it's not something we can do ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's its own.
Yeah.
Its own whatever.
And these oils are a premium grade. They're the strongest oils that you can buy that are still cosmetic safe, which means you can put them straight onto your skin without a reaction. And too, when people are buying oils for themselves to use like that as like a perfume or cologne, one oil may smell good on you, but it may not smell good on other people.
That's true.
Because you have your body chemistry playing into that factor. So I think that's why Egyptian musk is very popular, because it just seems to work with everyone's chemistry too.
That's very interesting. So do you sell the empty glass containers?
No.
So they come to you specifically for the oil?
Yes.
And do they come in through the flea market, but you said you also have a website?
Yes, we have it on our main website, TonshiMountain.com, TONSHI Mountain.com, as well as TonshiMountainGems.com. So the oils and the incense are both available on both websites.
Okay. So you have developed your business just with this selection of oils.
Yeah, there's more that I didn't bring everybody, but I think we have, it must be about 35 approximate, maybe almost 40 oils that we bottle. Some of them we don't bottle because they work better as either as an incense or a candle, and they're not something people would necessarily wear, or they don't work. Diffusers.
How did you get involved in this? There's obviously a story here.
It started with the incense. So, and this all goes back to when I was in the car business. I came to the Mowers Market and just walking around, and I just wanted to buy myself something. And there was only one person selling jewelry, and so I bought a nice necklace. I think this was maybe back in 2003 or 2004. And I get home, and like I have an engineer's mind. I kind of I looked at it, and my mind just reversed engineered it. And I'm just thinking, well, I could have done this. This could be fun. So I went to Michael's, bought a whole bunch of beads, forgot to buy string. So I used dental floss for my first necklace.
Well, hey.
I still have it.
That's cute.
Yeah, and fast forward to 2007, I got laid off. No, 2008. I got laid off in 2008. That's when the economy just tanked and people weren't buying cars, and I was ready for a change too. And unemployment was not doing it, and when I went into unemployment, it was like, okay, we're going to get a job. And the woman looked at me and she was just like, oh, you're going to be out of work for a while. And I'm just sitting there going, no. So I remembered that vendor, and I never saw her again there. And I thought to myself, I'm going to turn my hobby into something. Because my mother, when we were growing up, she used to do flea markets and that kind of thing, because she was a mother of 4, and it was very difficult for her to find a job with all us. So she just started doing markets, a different thing. She sold die-cast. She was one of the first people to sell die-cast cars at flea markets, and she grew it into a big business at one point. And so I thought to myself, I'm going to make some necklaces, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make some money. Well, I show up and everybody's doing jewelry, and their jewelry was a lot better than mine. So I upped my game, and I was at the market for about 6 months, and I noticed that no one was selling incense. And I'm thinking to myself, this is Woodstock, and I can't find incense at the market. So I ordered from different companies to kind of get an idea as to who had good quality oils and ingredients. And I landed on the company that I'm still using, and I bought a starter kit. And I literally made my money back on the starter kit the first weekend.
Really?
And it was only 20 cents. I mean, it was only 20 different varieties. And it just started growing and growing and growing. And then I started to get requests for oils. So I started bottling the oils, because these are the exact same oils that we make the incense with. So everything's cohesive. And now we're up to about 80 different varieties. I want to get to 100. I think I'm going to stop at 100.
What is magic about the number 100?
It's just a goal. It's a personal goal. I just want to have that nice, bulky number.
Are there a lot of companies that offer over 100?
Oh, yes. I would love to put, what's the name of the company? And their product, I've never been crazy about. Something wild, I think it's wildberry incense. You see them in gas stations and smoke shops. And, one of the ways you can tell if you're going to have an allergic reaction to incense is just take the stick and put it up to your nose. And if your nose starts to tingle, you probably should not buy it. And that particular brand, there's quite a few of them where I put the stick up to my nose and it starts to tingle. And also, I don't think that some of their scents translates as to what they're saying it is. Like, some of them are good, but I can tell you that there's a few varieties where I definitely think mine is better, my version.
So you're at 80 now?
We're about 80. There's a few that we haven't brought out for sale yet. I just recently blended. It's a little delicate with the proportions. A lilac berry blend, because I love lilac, and I've even gone out to my lilac bush and compared my oil to the actual blooming lilac, and I was like, yes, they nailed it. But I don't think lilac it's not utilized in blends enough, and I love lilac. So for me, that's my go-to with aromatherapy. When I want to have that aroma that says spring and renewal, that's the one I go to.
So you have some blends that are seasonal.
Yes, there's always seasonal blends. People tend to go towards lilac in the spring. Something like cinnamon. No, I didn't bring cinnamon out. Cinnamon is something they would use around the holidays and in the winter. Harvest spice. There are people that actually buy this all year round, but if you smell it, this is definitely, it screams fall.
Yes.
So I dip a lot less of that in the summer, and then when fall comes, the jar tends to empty out pretty quicker.
So when you first started off, how many of these different, what did you have? What did they choose from? Did they choose from 5?
When I chose from the company?
No, when you
Oh.
first started selling these, it's like you have.
Oh, I started with 20 varieties.
Oh, that's what you
Yes.
started with.
I started with just 20 varieties.
How long did it take you to develop 20?
I've been doing the incense since probably, I would say solidly 2009.
But when you first started out, were you making it? And
No,
Oh,
I never
okay.
made it before.
Okay.
I had to educate myself.
so you started out reselling,
Yes.
and then you began to do your own thing.
Yeah. When I got the starter kit from the company, they had an endless list of scents you could pick from, and you had to pick 20. So I went with like the typical popular ones like patchouli, musk, sandalwood. There was more than a few that have come and gone that were discontinued just because they weren't a good seller. They weren't as popular as I thought they would be. So I kind of judged that by how quickly the jars empty out. And if the jar doesn't empty out, I don't like stale product. So if it's sitting around all season and I haven't had to make a batch, it's probably going to be discontinued. And there's been a couple that my oil company discontinued. The one that breaks my heart was they recently discontinued one of my ingredients for China Rain. And you don't see China Rain out there. It used to be very, very popular, I think in the 70s and 80s. And not a lot of people make it. But the key ingredient to the China Rain was discontinued by my company, so I can't make it anymore. And so that was discontinued not by choice. And then there was another one that I sold. I can't remember the name of it. This was a number of years ago. Oh, blackberry sage. Oh, blackberry sage tea. It was called blackberry sage tea, and I loved it. It had just a tiny bit of tang to it, and I still have a little bottle that it's like I buy the big bottles, and there's like this much left in it, and that's completely hoarded for myself.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the private stash.
Yeah, because they just don't make it anymore.
Well, now, when did you go from buying a wholesale amount of this and retailing it to making it?
Oh, from the beginning. I made it right from the beginning. The starter kit included the unscented sticks, your choice of oils, with the with incense. There's actually a science behind how an incense stick burns. You cannot take an unscented stick, which basically an unscented stick is it's bamboo with sandalwood pulp coated on it.
Okay.
So when they press the sandalwood oil, they're left with this unscented pulp that is
Okay.
perfect for rescenting. And you cannot just dip this in straight oil and think it's going to burn properly. It's just not.
Okay.
Pine is a very good example of this. Sometimes pine, especially white pine, will translate as smelling almost like cat pee.
Oh,
And that's because the oil is burning, and that's the smell of the burning pine. So there is this glycerol additive that you have to use about 20 to 25% of DPG. It's a very common ingredient in your hair conditioner, and it thins out the oil. Now, if you've ever noticed that when you first light up an incense stick, it doesn't smell as good as it will 30 seconds later. And that is because the glycerol thins the oil so that it's not being sucked into the flame, but it is hyper diffusing underneath it. So it doesn't, when you burn an incense stick, you're not actually burning the oil. It's hyper diffusing right under that smolder point.
so when you started out with the kit. So
Yeah.
you had the sticks.
I got the sticks, and I just basically mixed up the oil concoction, dipped them, soaked them, let them dry, and then they were ready to go.
And you got, all of that came from one place,
Yes, yes, and I still use that company.
including
to
the
this day.
the instructions.
Yes, they were very good in advising like different proportions to use, and basically the how-to. And they're a bulk supplier, and we do a lot of business with them. And we use them because their products are just, or their ingredients are just good. I mean, I even get the amber bottles from them as well.
You get everything.
Yeah.
So what that tells me is that there are a lot there. This is a business opportunity.
We do wholesale our incense. If anyone is in the Poughkeepsie area, the Traveling Buddha, my friends Mike and Suna, they own that. They have a store at the Poughkeepsie Galleria. Yeah, I think it's the Galleria. And they sell my incense there.
Wow.
And I did have a lot more wholesale accounts, but they didn't make it through COVID. In fact, one of my wholesale accounts down in Florida, she actually used to live in Woodstock, and she used to own a store called the Gypsy Wagon, Cindy, and she ended up passing away on me, and that was just heartbreaking. So, that obviously was a friend and an account that I lost. But then there were a few other businesses that just, the shutdown shut them down, which is one of the reasons I don't own a store, a traditional store, because there's a lot of overhead and risk in the brick and mortar. And that's why I love the Mowers Market, because if it rains, if it's the off season, you're not there, you're not paying rent, you don't pay the utilities, you don't pay for the business insurance or any of the overhead related to having a store. So I just prefer pitching my tents wherever, mainly there, but there's a few other places that I'll go during the season that are bigger events.
Well, there are places that have special shows.
Yeah.
I've never been able to connect to any of those special shows. I keep applying to have a booth at some of these special shows, and they're all there. The market is saturated, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people they see vending and, doing this kind of life as a way of making a living, because making a living is getting harder. And, it seems like our incomes aren't keeping up with inflation.
It's harder, but we also have to realize, and this really hit home with me today, COVID came and everybody went underground. Whatever underground was, that's where they went.
Yeah.
And then when you came out, you didn't go back to the old way. You had to make a new way.
Yeah.
So by going underground, you really took your whole life and kissed it goodbye.
And you know, our business actually grew during the COVID era because we were utilizing social media and ways of marketing. You know, people were home. They were stuck home.
Yeah.
And they were on their computers. You know, if a person was lucky enough to benefit from the COVID money, they had extra money to spend that they didn't have before. So, you know, we really branched out there, and when everything opened back up again, that first year back, we exploded.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you know, you are right. It's like normal became different.
Yes.
You know, and still, I mean, we lost all our go-to places that we love to go eat. And yeah, I mean, like the Anchor in Kingston, I love that place. And they're gone.
Absolutely, and
There's
not
a
coming
lot
back.
Or they changed. You know, one of the restaurants in Phoenicia, we would always go to Taco Tuesdays. And instead of having the waiters and waitresses that we loved and were used to seeing, because they did have a great wait staff, now you go up to a counter and order. It lost its...
It's different.
It's
completely different.
Yeah.
Well, and then, and I'm sure that Woodstock is not an exception.
Mm-hmm.
You had a town, and during COVID, businesses changed hands.
Yeah.
People moved, all these things. Now you go to the old restaurant, go to the old store, you go to the and the people that are in there are different. The merchandise is different.
Yes.
Everything is different.
It is.
I don't know what happened to the people that were there before, but they're not there now.
I mean, and, you know, when you have a brick and mortar business and, you know, there's a shutdown, you still have to pay your rent.
Right.
You still have to pay all those things, even though people aren't allowed to come out to you to buy.
Right.
And a lot of people lost their businesses.
Yes.
Or they had to sell their business just to pay the bills that had piled up. And, you know, whereas we just shifted more to online business.
Well, and I think also that some people, when the pandemic hit, they looked around in their business and said, you know, I've done this for 30 years, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, there was a record number of retirees.
Yes.
New retirees during COVID. You know, at my job, driving the school bus, you have to have a CDL license. Even Class A drivers, CDL. Everything from school buses to food delivery, product delivery. We still need people. And all those, you know, people were older and they retired. And it left this huge gap that still isn't filled.
Absolutely. And the young people have not decided that they want to get the CDL anymore yet. They have to grow into it.
It's, you know, we're going to be seeing, I think there's one more approval, but it looks like there's going to be a significant raise for drivers in our, with First Student. And that is to bring people in to drive, because we do still have too many supplement drivers that are being brought in out of district every day. And that is one thing that the company is committed to, covering this district and making sure all these kids get to school on time. And you know, our dispatcher is and managers are heroes when it comes to that, because the stress that they are under every day when they're trying to figure out how many drivers are calling in sick, do they have enough coverage. They've gotten behind the wheel of buses themselves to
Well, they have to.
fulfill the contract.
You have to deliver the product,
Yeah.
you know.
And they absolutely do the best job they can, and for the most part, they do it successfully.
So that, you know, that your business, you've done quite well.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have done quite well because they had time during the pandemic to think things through and to
Yeah.
advance and to work with. And not only that, this is just a piece. You've got all these stones and things.
Yes, we do jewelry, we do the rocks and crystals, we do the home aromas. We're like a traveling boutique.
Well, and you do the
The
headdresses.
crowns,
Oh,
yes, and the wands.
And then you do the wands. I still have that wand. That wand and I communicate with each other every day.
Yeah.
I could not believe the communication.
Yeah.
You know?
It bonded with you. And, you know, just like with this, because of the 2 periods of formation that make this what it is, it's actually very rare. And I think I was offered a lot of money for it a few years back, and I just could not sell it.
Absolutely
And
not. It's yours.
I bought it with the intention of reselling it. And, you know, when I make a new piece, sometimes I'll just take it for a test drive. You know, just wear it. Like sometimes people will notice it, and then you sell it off of your neck.
Can you hold it up?
Oh, here.
Yes. Well, all of your things are so beautiful, and then you have these.
Yes.
Now, if somebody, because now I have a wand that has so much attached to it, could somebody buy this and then you could decorate it?
The only thing I've ever done with towers is I've wire wrapped trees onto the towers.
Oh, wow.
You know, the tree sculptures, and then I use the semi-precious stone chips for leaves. So I've done that, and I do have a project that I do have to start. There was this. We were actually at one of our wholesalers, and this amethyst geode fell off the forklift. And I mean, it was originally 4 feet high, and the top part of it just smashed. And we just happened to be there. And so we bought it at a very deeply discounted price. And
Well, I guess so.
so now the bottom part is about that high. And it's a very beautiful Brazilian deep purple amethyst cluster. And so I'm going to do a massive tree on the top of it to cover up the fact that it is all smashed up on the top.
You know, this one is talking.
That's obsidian.
It's talking. Wow. So,
Obsidian is very interesting because it's born out of chaos. It's a form of natural glass, and usually it's formed due to volcanic activity, and sometimes, very rarely, very strong lightning can create obsidian.
well, and of course the times now, this week, the times are so traumatic. They are so. And then here, this gentle little stone. This is amazing. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Do you have somebody for that stone?
No. I actually was just, well, let's have, let me just pick a few just to pretty up the table and just remind people we do
Well, this
rocks and
one's ready to
crystals.
go.
Yeah.
This one is definitely ready to go.
I actually just acquired that a month ago.
Oh, it's brand new to you.
Yeah, that's brand new.
Well,
And I am just the vehicle in which they find their
this
home.
is somebody's pet. This is someone's pet. And by that I mean you have it home and you know that when you come home from work, it feels good to have it on a table
Yeah.
next to you, you know.
Yeah.
It's a companion piece. It's a companion piece. And what is this one?
That is a smoky citrine. So it has elements of citrine and smoky quartz combined within the same crystal.
That's beautiful. Where did that one come from?
I believe that is Brazilian, as is the rose
Brazil
quartz.
has everything, doesn't
I
it?
know.
Just
give me a shovel and a pick and just
dump you off in Brazil.
dump me off on a mountain somewhere, and you know.
Now, how about this one? Where did this beautiful thing come
I believe that's also Brazilian.
It's Brazil.
Yeah. The best quartz comes from Brazil.
Yeah. The best everything comes from Brazil.
Yeah.
You know, diamonds, rubies, sapphires, whatever, you know, they're everything. I mean, there are other parts of Latin America. Colombia is is emeralds and whatever, but Brazil's got it all. You know, you can.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's such a variety. And, you know, here we live in New York, and there really isn't much. There isn't much. We have some tourmaline and Herkimer diamonds, and we have a lot of quartz. Quartz.
Do you trade in Herkimers?
I wire wrap Herkimers. I actually have a friend who usually does the market on Sundays, Dave. Actually, Dave was at the get-together for the market vendors last week, and he has a claim at the Diamond Acre Mine in Fonda, New York. And I think he's got to be about 15 feet down.
So he actually goes there and digs.
Yes, he digs out his
He
own
is
rocks.
into the Herkimers.
Yes, yes.
Well, I never knew
You
that. I'll
have
have to go and see
Yeah.
if I can get him to let me see his Herkimers.
John usually puts him on our row, either on my side or the other, all the way down.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
have to do that.
Yeah.
Because I know that there are several of you who sell the stones.
Yeah.
And all of you seem to be proud of what you do and ethical. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It really is. You know, there's a different, each person has a different take on it, but
Yeah, yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, that's why we don't really consider ourselves competitors, because we have our own style, our own thing going. I mean, Bruce is across from me, and he tends to sell more exquisite, curated, high-end pieces. But we always, I mean, somebody comes to me for Moldavite. No, I don't have Moldavite, but Bruce probably will.
yes.
And Dave will have the Herkimers, and, you know, Carol and Mary will have the little angel statues.
Yes, and the little things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And then, of course, we have the jewelry down in that last corner,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, so, and they are extremely proud of what they do.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, they really are very sincere. So that's one of the things that's so nice about the market. It is sincere.
There's a lot of very talented people there. I mean, it's a flea market, but it's kind of like an antique market mixed with a artisan's market.
Absolutely. Well, you know, when I first started at the flea market, I knew nothing about flea markets at all. I just knew that I needed to raise some money and this might be a good way to do it.
That's how I started.
And somebody said, well, listen, you just go over there and you put some stuff out and you tell them it's to feed the hungry, and you're going to get some, well, of course, it was a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, well, you were feeding hungry.
But it has been a journey.
Yeah, yeah. You meet the most interesting people, whether they are vendors or just.
Oh my God,
people
we're down to
coming.
5. We're down to 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Can we spend our 5 minutes? Please tell everybody how they can find you and find your products, what they can expect to get from you, and about your websites.
Well, we have the main website, TonshiMountain.com, TONSHI, mountainspelledout.com, as well as TonshiMountainGems.com. The Tonshi Mountain Gems site, you can get the oils and the incense, but that's where you're going to find the rocks and crystals. We're still developing it. Because these are one-of-a-kind pieces, each one has to be photographed and priced and measured and weighed. It's a lot more work than you would think. And then the main website has all the home aromas, including my daughter's amazing wax products. She has wax melts as well as candles. She can also be contacted very easily for custom blends. And starting our season, let's see, I don't remember the date, but I have booked the SPCA of Ulster County, their garden party. I believe that's in early May. And then there'll be the walkway over the Hudson for their May Fest. So there's a lot of wine and food tasting there. And if you've never been over the walkway, it's an amazing view.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, it goes right across the Hudson River. And but most of the season I will be at the Mowers Market on Maple Lane in Woodstock, behind Bread Alone. And yeah, and you can always just also call, email. Our phone number is area code 845-532-4600, and the email is tonshimountain@yahoo.com.
Now, do you ship these things?
Yes.
How do you ship them? What do they go out in?
They get packed in bubble wrap and out in one of those envelopes.
Okay, so if somebody wants, what's the minimum that they get on the incense?
5 sticks for $1.
So you'll ship $1 worth of incense?
Yes, but they're going to have to pay shipping on $1, and I would encourage them to buy more.
Okay, how many do they have to buy to make the shipping reasonable?
Oh, I would have to look at the shipping chart. I would say at least $5 worth.
Okay.
At least.
I know that I ship my books out,
Yeah.
and it's $5. It really is. I charge $5 to ship a book, and it's $5.
Yeah.
So I know every time I go to the post office for a product, it's going to cost $5.
I think the cheapest, because it goes by, the post office goes by ounces.
Yeah.
And I think it's like maybe $3 is the minimum. And incense is pretty light, so, the minimum is going to be about $3 for shipping, and then it goes up according to how many ounces.
Okay, because
But that's all on the website.
Okay.
Now, I
Now,
think it's time.
oh no, we're down to 1 minute.
1
Well,
minute.
thank you so much, Ellen. Thank you. This has been great. It's been a long time, folks, and we are so grateful. We are so grateful that you have joined us this evening. This has
Thank you
been
for
a
having me.
special show,
Yes.
and thank you very much, Ellen.
Thank you.